What's up, everybody? Welcome to Best Massage Tech, where today I'm taking a look at the all-new Normatec 3. So Hyperice did recently introduce the Normatec 3 as their newest iteration of compression recovery devices, and it does seem that with this version they are trying to take a little bit more of a simplified approach, trying to make it a little bit more user-friendly from a functionality standpoint on the pump, and maybe drive some more functionalities through the app, through their Bluetooth functions there. Maybe try to get a couple more users on the app just for downloads and checking out some of their other routines and other devices on there. But regardless, it does seem that they've taken that simplified approach. They have made some minor improvements from what I can see on this device from the previous generation. So in today's video, I'm excited to take a look at what comes with the device out of the box. I'll talk about some of the specifications and features of this generation's device. And then at the end, I will go ahead and put the boots on and talk a little bit about my experience using them. So to start off, let's take a look at what comes with the device out of the box. So the first thing that you see when you open the box is the control unit or the pump itself. And for users that are familiar with the Normatec line, the one thing that you'll notice right away is that it is lacking a touchscreen. That is the first thing and the first sign that I noticed that it's sort of a little bit more simplified version of their device. So you'll see they've taken away that touchscreen and basically pared it down to just 4 buttons. So you have an attachment button, a pressure setting button, a zone boost button, and a time functionality button. You've got the Hyperice branding up in the corner. You have a stop and start button down in the other corner. You have a power button on the side. There's no branding on the side of the device at all. It is all matte black, so no fingerprints showing up on this compared to the LCD touchscreen of the previous generations. On the front side of it, you have a charging port and then a port for the hoses to plug in. So that is what the pump looks like, and definitely very simplistic looking compared to the other version. So we'll talk about some of the specifications and features of this in a little bit, but let's move on to what comes with the device next. So the next thing you see in the box is the boots themselves. You do get 2 of these boots. They do look very, very similar to the previous generations. It is a high quality boot, sturdy material. You've got the Normatec or Hyperice branding on the front of it here. There is no branding on the other side of it. You do have a zipper that runs down the entire length of the boot. When it does get to the bottom, there's some stitching that prevents it from fully unzipping. It is a 5-chambered boot, so you have a chamber in the foot, one in the ankle, one in the calf, one in the knee, and then one in the upper thigh. You have the hose that runs out of the top of it. This plugs into the attachment hose, which then goes to your pump. The inside of the boot is the same material as the exterior, so very easy to wipe down if you sweat in them. There is no indicating tags on the left or right boot, so you can wear these on either leg. You do have 2 little hooks on the top of it if you'd like to hang these. And then one last thing that I'll mention is that the foot is a 3-panel design, so the bottom of the boot is flat, and then you have a chamber on either side. So that is what the boots look like. They do come in 3 different sizes. So this is the standard boot, which is sized for people 5'3" to 6'4". They do also have a short and tall boot, but is currently sold out on the Hyperice website. So I'm not able to see what sizes those are designed for, but they do have those sizes available as well. Now the chambers in these are overlapping. They call it seamless compression. So that's an added feature. You're not gonna have any sort of backflow when it's pumping up. You're not gonna have any gaps or gapless compression, they call it, I think. Not seamless compression, but you're not gonna have any sort of gaps in between those chambers because they do have some overlap in them. So you do not have the ability to activate or deactivate individual chambers on this, but we'll talk a little bit about that when I get to the specifications and features of the pump. So that is what the boots look like. The next thing you get is the hose. This hose is very similar to the previous generation. So you have this sort of Y connector on one end. So one boot goes in here, the other boot goes in here. The other end plugs into the pump. I will show that. So you've got sort of this triangle design here. Just line that up there, plugs in, easily stays on. When you're ready to pull it out, you just depress that button and it comes out easily. So this hose plugs into both of your boots and then into the pump. It is a battery powered device, so you do get a charging cord with the device. This is what the charging cord looks like. You've got the Hyperice branding on one side. It is a US outlet that's on it, but it does come with 3 different international plugs as well. So you've got that one, and that one. So if you are an international customer or if you're going to be traveling from the US with it, you can easily swap those out. It's easy to plug that in. This does plug into the front of your pump. Once it is on, you've got some lights at the top of it that light up to indicate your battery level. So that's what you get next. And then the last thing that you get is this little envelope or folder, kind of standard with the Normatec and Hyperice products. Inside of that, you just have three things. You have a quick start guide, you have some stickers, and then an instruction manual. Quick start guide, as you'd expect, just how to quickly plug it in and start it. Stickers, you get a black one and a white one. Hard to see there, but it's exactly the same. And then the instruction manual just has some warranty information, some warnings, some troubleshooting, so a couple different languages here. The one improvement I'll say, in the past, my criticism of what came in here was like 10 to 15 different postcards, and it was all different stuff, and I was like always wanting a book because it makes it easy and less stuff to have, and they've done it. They've pared it down to 3 things, so nice. You'd probably throw that away, but anyways, it does not come with a case or anything like that, so that is everything that comes with it. So with that, let's go ahead and talk about some of the specifications and features of the pump itself. So with the pump, as I mentioned, they have simplified it just down to these 4 buttons. So I'll go ahead and turn it on here. You just press that power button on the side, and you'll see the very top, that is your battery level. And then the top one is just the attachment selection. So you've got legs, hips, arms. You just press that to cycle through those quickly. Obviously, it is compatible with those 3 attachments, so I'm gonna put it on legs. Your pressure level goes from 1 to 7. The pressure range on this is going to range from 30 millimeters of mercury all the way up to 110. Previous generations only had 5 pressure settings, so a little bit of an improvement there, but the pressure range is the same, so just a little bit more customization. Then you have a zone boost button. This previously was just 1 button that would line up with the LCD screen depending on what zone you were in. This you can predetermine which section is going to get the zone boost. The zone boost is just an additional 10 millimeters of mercury in pressure for an additional 60 seconds on any zone you want. So zone 1's your foot, zone 5 is your upper thigh there. And then lastly is your time functions. It's going to go in increments of 15 minutes, so 15, 30, 45, and 60. Goes back to the end. Previous generation you could go continuous, but this one, the maximum setting there is going to be 60 minutes. In terms of the different patterns, there is no functionality on here that determines what the patterns are. I'll talk a little bit about that once I do put them on. This does not have negative gradient compression in the boots at all, so the pressure is going to be the same in every single chamber no matter what pressure setting you put it at. It's not like it's slowly getting higher to help move those fluids. This does come with a Bluetooth compatible app. So while the functionality on this does seem a little bit limited, they have advertised that the app is going to have some added functionality. I don't know if it's just that I'm getting this while it's really new, but I have tested out the app. There's currently no routines explicitly designed for the Normatec 3 in the app. They're all still for the Normatec 2. That being said, the Normatec 2 routines did trigger when I had this on, so you can still use those routines. But in terms of customization, I didn't really see much functionality other than being able to adjust the time by plus or minus 5 minutes. It's really just routines based on what you want to do, and they adjust the pressure and time, and that seemed like pretty much it. So I don't know if there's more functionality coming on the way. I hope there is, because it does seem that they've advertised a little bit more customization. I'm hoping you can adjust the pressure beyond 7 settings. Currently in the app, it does look like there's only the 7 settings available. So we'll see, but right now that's all I get from the functionality of the app. I did want to mention that it does have that app compatibility. Again, this is a battery powered device, so they advertise the battery life on this to be 3 hours. That's an improved battery life. It was previously 2 hours, so improvement there. That battery life is going to depend obviously on how long you're using it, what pressure setting, so how much pumping it's going to have to be doing, how much pressure, how much battery it's going to be using. So just keep that in mind, that 3 hours is what they advertise, but doesn't necessarily always ring true. Again, the max session and usage time is 60 minutes. So that's just a quick look at the specifications and features of this. So once you are ready to go ahead and use the device, I'm going to go ahead and plug my boots on. I'm going to move the angle here and show you how to put them on, and then I'll talk about how it feels, how it feels, and then my overall thoughts. So once you've connected everything, you are ready to go ahead and put the boots on. You can put them on one of 2 ways. You can either pull it on like a pair of pants. That's what I typically do, but they do unzip. So you can slide your leg in. Always recommend wearing comfortable clothing. So I've got athletic shorts on. You don't want anything with zippers, buttons, anything that when it fills with air is gonna either puncture your leg or, you know, be uncomfortable on your leg or puncture your boot. So just keep that in mind. when you put it on, you want to put your foot all the way down to the heel of it. It should be nice and comfortable there, and then it should come all the way up to your groin. If you do have boots that are a little bit too big, you can just unzip them a little bit and open them up and just make sure they pull all the way up to your groin. So once you have them on, this is what they look like. Go ahead and select your routine. So make sure you've got legs. I'm gonna go on pressure level 5. Not gonna put the zone boost on it. I'm just gonna go ahead and put the time at 15 minutes just for this video. Here's the noise of it, just to hold it up. It is really, really quiet. You almost hear more of the air in the boots than you do noise from the pump itself, which is really interesting. This might be one of the most quiet devices that I've tried in the compression recovery space. So as it starts to fill up, the standard fill pattern on this is that it's gonna fill each individual chamber holding the pressure in it until the whole boot is filled, and then it's gonna deflate the whole boot at once. So the first pass typically takes a couple minutes, but then once there's some air established in the chambers, it goes a little bit quicker. So earlier I was talking about how the boot had a 3-chambered panel. So you've got this flat panel on the bottom and then one on either side. It makes it a much more comfortable boot. I've tried a lot of boots out there that only have a 2-panel design and it pinches your foot on the side. Most of the higher end compression recovery boots that you're gonna try out there are gonna have that 3-panel design though. So it feels really comfortable on your foot. It's just a gentle squeeze, and this feels very similar to what I'm used to from the Normatec boots. Nice smooth fill. Now as it goes up here, it doesn't indicate on the unit at all what chamber is currently filling. Obviously you can feel it, but there's no sort of visual functionality with it because it is just these buttons. While it's filling here, I'll just talk about a couple other things. So the price of this is currently $799. It is a little bit more expensive than the 2.0. It is cheaper than the 2.0 Pro. It does come with a 1-year warranty. Again, they've got 3 different attachments that this is compatible with. So you got your legs, your hips, and your arms. I believe you could probably purchase the 2.0 hips and arms and it would work on this. Don't quote me on that, but it seems like they're the same shape. The pump unit itself is 3.2 pounds. Everything altogether is 3.6 pounds. It is TSA approved, so if you wanted to take this as a carry-on, you certainly could. I don't know if I would recommend trying to use it on the plane. I don't know how the pressure in the plane would function with, or how this would function with the pressure in the plane, but it is approved as a carry-on, so if you don't want to check it in your suitcase, you can. So just sit back and relax once this fills. So this is what the boots look like when they're entirely filled. It's filling that last chamber at the top now. Once it's filled, it's just gonna hold for a couple seconds and then release. So let's see if we can catch the release. So it's still pumping a little bit here at the end. And so yeah, this was a 15-minute routine that I chose. We're at 12:03 and it just hit finishing there. So that first cycle through, it's still pumping a little bit more. So about 3 minutes to cycle that full boot on that first pass. Now it's pumping my feet a little bit more. Going back to my calf. So needless to say, it's very comfortable. It's very relaxing. The pressure settings, again, I'm on 5. It feels like a good squeeze. Again, the maximum pressure there is giving me 110 millimeters of mercury. If you're looking for something really, really strong in terms of a squeeze, this might not be the device for you. They've designed these products not to go extremely high beyond your diastolic blood pressure, so that you're not cutting off your circulation to any of your tissues or anything like that. So anyways, I just wanted to show what it looked like when it's full. I will now just talk a little bit about some of my thoughts after using this for a full 3 days or so. So the one thing I didn't show is actually taking the boots off. You can take them off the same way you put them on, either just pull it off or unzip it. There is no sort of active deflate on it, so you just have to wait for gravity to sort of squeeze the air out of it. You can sort of roll them up once you've got them off and squeeze the air out on your own, but today I just want to mention that there's no sort of active deflate function on it. So In terms of my overall thoughts after using this for about 3 days, I've done a few different routines with it, played around with the app. Quite honestly, I'm not as impressed as I had hoped to be. Initially, when I heard that it was the 3.0, I thought, oh, this is just like their low-end version. They're just trying to make it price friendlier, pricing it at $799, making it more affordable. But then I saw that it seemed like it had less functionality than the 2.0, so then I was a little bit confused because it does seem like this is their newest generation, and I would imagine we're going to get a Normatec 3 Pro that will maybe have some more functionality on it built into it. But in terms of what I'm seeing so far, it does just seem like they've maybe made a little bit of an improvement in terms of the battery life and then given us just a little bit more functionality in terms of the pressure levels. But overall, I personally like the 2.0 and the 2.0 Pro a lot better. I prefer the touchscreen. It seemed like there was just more natural functionality in it. Now, yes, was it a little bit confusing? Did it take you a little bit of time to figure it out? Yes. Once you got over that learning curve, though, it was really easy to use, I thought, and I liked all the different functionalities of it. Again, I don't want to discredit it yet just because maybe the app hasn't been fully updated with some of those functionalities yet, but just my thoughts there on that. I do wish it had some sort of active deflate function. I do wish it came with a case. None of the Hyperice products seem to ever come with a case, but so why would they? I don't know. But this, again, doesn't come with a case. I wish the routines were easy to decipher what was going on. So on the unit itself, no way to determine what the routine is. It's just sort of the one standard routine. In the app, there's nothing that describes in the routines what's going to happen. Is it going to be a sequential fill? Is it going to fill all at once? Is it going to be patterned? Is it going to be certain chambers? Is it not? Can you turn off individual chambers? So none of that functionality I could find anywhere, so a little bit disappointing there. And then overall, I just, again, kind of said this in a couple different ways, but it just seems like there's minimal control. And maybe I'm a little bit spoiled because I've tried so many different devices, but to me, it just seems like it's too simple almost. Like the push buttons, it just seems very rudimentary what they've gone back to, sort of back to basics. And I don't know. I don't know what they're going for here. Maybe there was a lot of complaints that it was difficult to use, and now they're trying to target a more broad demographic of just simply push buttons. I don't know, but that's my thoughts. But that being said, there are certainly some things on this that I do like. From the aesthetics of it, I will say that I do really like the matte black of it. The old versions just showed a lot of fingerprints on the touchscreen. The fact that you don't have the touchscreen and everything is that matte black. No fingerprints on it anymore, so it's a nice, clean device. I do think the ease of use of it, while minimal in terms of the capabilities, the ease of use is very straightforward. So I do have to give them credit for that it is very easy to use, very simple. You just press the button and it does what you'd expect it to do. The zone boost, if you're not familiar with that, I guess that'd be a little bit unique. Maybe if they had a picture showing what each zone number correlated to, but overall the use of it is pretty much just plug and play. So good job there. And then lastly, I would just say the quality of the boots continues to be great. It's the same boots that I've seen with other Normatec products. So really comfortable, really quality build. It doesn't feel like they're going to fall apart. They don't feel like they're going to burst or anything when it's filling with air. So that's a plus. And then I guess lastly, the price point. Kind of the benchmark that I think all these products should be at or under is $1,000. So the fact that this comes in at $799, fairly priced, I think, for what it's able to do. Now, compared to some of the other products that are out there, I think you could probably find some other products that are similarly priced that do more, including their own device at $699, I think, right now for the Normatec 2. So I would say between the two right now, if I was held up with gun to my head saying, pick one of these, I would probably pick the 2.0 right now until some of the functionality in that app maybe comes to be. But again, my personal opinion, obviously people are going to be using these for different purposes. I like to have a lot of control, but some people are going to prefer just the plug and play of just having that one routine. So anyways, if there's something that I didn't mention that you'd like to know more about, go ahead, drop your question in the comments down below. I will do my best to answer that as always. If you like videos like this, please consider giving this video a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to the channel. I have new reviews of products like this all the time. I try to be one of the first people to review new products, so Hyperice just launched this about a week ago. I jumped on their website and bought it right away so I could try to get this review up quickly. So if you appreciate that, I do appreciate you consider subscribing. But otherwise, that is the Normatec 3. That's a review. Enjoy your recovery.